Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. We are broadcasting from the studios of the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week Wisdom and Legacy Building podcast. This is day 938 of our trek, and time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday, we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. As we continue on with this trek called life, sometimes we have questions about life. So Friday's trek is a time where we can ask Gramps. Gramps will answer your questions that you might have or that you would like to ask your dad or granddad, but for whatever reason, this is not possible. No matter how old we are, I know that all of us would like the opportunity to ask Dad or Gramps questions about life in many areas. Today is the 5th episode in a new series delving into what makes each of us respond to what we do with life situations. Understanding ourselves and how others may interpret life through their paradigm will allow us to interact with each other with more love and compassion. This is utilizing a profound tool called the Enneagram. If you've missed any of our past 4 Friday series, I recommend that you go back and listen to them or read the wisdom journals. As a review, the tool we refer to as the Enneagram is a circle of 9 interconnected points. Ennea referring to 9 and gram referring to a drawing. Check out today's wisdom journal for a representation of it. I have also included in today's wisdom journal a copy of the Enneagram at a Glance, which was compiled by Suzanne H. Eller. If you'd like a PDF copy of it, click on the link in today's wisdom journal, which is located on our website at wisdom-trek.com. I would also recommend a recently released book called The Road Back to You, written by Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile. It is an excellent book about an Enneagram journey to your self-discovery. When I discovered the depth of the Enneagram, it opened a new horizon of understanding of myself first, and also helped me to understand others better. The Enneagram is the most useful tool of this type that I've encountered in my personal growth. We are exploring this tool in detail, and I would recommend also reading the Wisdom Journal for each Friday to see the diagrams presented each week. If you have any questions or would like additional resources, please send me a message from our Wisdom Journal page, and I will reply to you. As helpful as the Enneagram is, keep in mind, though, it is only a tool. It cannot replace or usurp the precepts that are found in God's Word. All decisions and actions that we make in life must be in harmony with God's precepts. So the question for this week and the next several weeks or months will be, Hey Gramps, why do people act or react to situations or circumstances in life so differently? How can I gain additional wisdom to better understand myself and others so that I can love, serve, and minister to them on a deeper level? So today we'll look at the Enneagram system, the continuum of the levels of development. The continuum is comprised of 9 internal levels of development. Briefly, there are 3 levels in the healthy section, 3 levels in the average section, and 3 levels in the unhealthy section. It may help you to think about the continuum of levels as a photographer's grayscale, with gradients from pure white to pure black, with many shades of gray in between. On the continuum, the healthiest traits appear first, at the top so to speak. As we move down the continuum in a spiral pattern, we progressively pass through the levels of development, making a distinct shift from a personality deterioration to the pure black of the psychological breakdown at the bottom. The continuum for each of the personality types can be seen on the diagram, which is located in today's Wisdom Journal. So if you'd like a pictorial view of this diagram or a pictorial view of the levels of development for each type, please refer to today's Wisdom Journal. The continuum levels of development are the healthy level. Level 1 is the level of liberation. Level 2, the level of psychological capacity. Level 3, the level of social value. Moving on into the average sector, level 4 is the level of imbalance/social role. Level 5 is the level of interpersonal control. Level 6 is the level of overcompensation. And moving into the lower segment, the lower third, is our unhealthy segment. Level 7 is the level of violation. Level 8 is the level of obsession and compulsion. And level 9 is the level of pathological destructiveness. At each level, significant spiritual and psychological shifts occur as indicated by the title mentioned here. For example, at level 5, the level of interpersonal control, the person is trying to manipulate himself or others to get his or her spiritual or psychological needs met. This invariably creates interpersonal conflicts. At this level, which is about halfway down through the continuum, the person has also fully identified with his ego and does not see himself as anything more than that. The ego must, therefore, be increasingly defended and inflated for the person to feel safe and to keep his identity intact. If this activity does not satisfy the person and the anxiety increases, he or she may deteriorate to the next state, level 6, the level of overcompensation, where their behavior will become more intrusive and aggressive as they continue to pursue their ego agenda. Anxiety is increasing, and the person is increasingly disruptive and focused on getting his needs met regardless of the impact on the people around them. One of the most profound ways of understanding the levels is as a measure of our own capacity to be present. The more we move down the levels, the more identified we are with our ego and its increasingly negative restrictive patterns. Our personality becomes more defensive, reactive, and automatic, and we consequently have less and less real freedom and less real consciousness. As we move down the levels, we become caught in more compulsive, destructive actions, which are ultimately self-defeating. By contrast, the movement toward health up the levels is simultaneously with being more present and awake in our souls, mind, hearts, and body. As we become more present, we become less fixated in the defensive structures of our personality and more attuned and open to ourselves and our environment and what God's design is for our lives. We see ourselves and our personalities objectively, in action rather than falling asleep to our automatic mindset and personality patterns. There is, therefore, the possibility of not doing, falling into a damaging mindset and personality, and of gaining some real distance from the negative consequences of getting caught in it. We have to be present in this situation. As we become more present, we see ourselves and our personality traits more objectively. The levels become a continuous guide to self-observation, a map that you would use to chart where we are in our psycho-spiritual development at any point in time. As we move up the levels, we discover that we are freer and less driven by compulsive, unconscious drives, and therefore able to act more effectively and spirit-led in all areas of our lives, including our relationships, which is most important. When we are less identified with our old mindset and personality, we find we respond as needed to whatever life presents, actualizing the positive potentials of all 9 types, bringing real peace, creativity, strength, joy, compassion, and other positive qualities in whatever we are doing. Well, that's a good bit to get our mind around today. Next Friday, we will begin an overview of the directions of growth and stress, and how they are crucial in understanding ourselves and others more fully. While the Enneagram is a powerful tool to help us to grow spiritually and understand ourselves better and also understand the perspective of others better, ultimately it should drive us to have more love and compassion both for ourselves and for others, as we are encouraged in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. Then we will no longer be immature like children. We won't be tossed and blown by every wind of new teaching. We will not be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever that they sound like truth. Instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of the body, the church. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts to grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. Join us again next Friday as we explore further the Enneagram on our Ask Gramps episode. The information that we will explore will allow us to unlock who we are as we travel on this trek of life and discover more about ourselves and others as we impact God's kingdom. I know that you'll find these insights interesting, practical, and profitable in living a rich and satisfying life. Our next trek is Meditation Monday, where we will help you to reflect on those most important areas of life. So encourage your friends and family to join us and then come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 937 daily treks or read the associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. I encourage you to subscribe to Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.